everyone, Levi and I are here today, say hi Levi, to talk about the truth about breast milk and breastfeeding. Just have a few things that I want to chat about in regards to breastfeeding and kind of some myths that are associated with it, and also just some tips and advice I have for all of you mamas. So breastfeeding is definitely a journey, and I think it's hard because as a new mom, you're so emotional and you're bombarded with so many expectations and things to learn, and you don't, pop out a baby and just automatically know how to breastfeed. Look at him standing by himself. But baby has to eat, and so it happens right away, and sometimes it's painful, and especially if you don't have the right support around you at the moment, it can get really painful really fast. And I was lucky that I delivered at a hospital that was breastfeeding friendly, baby friendly, and so nurses were really helpful, and my mother was really helpful in helping me learn how to latch quickly. So we did a lot of research though when my son was born, and we tried to become as knowledgeable as possible on what's normal, what's not, and so that way I could learn faster and help other moms down the road. So it is normal to experience some discomfort with breastfeeding at first. It should never be excruciatingly painful. Now, I do think there are some circumstances sometimes where it can be really painful for some girls, but if it is painful all the time for weeks, then something is wrong with the latch, and the latch is everything. If your baby's latched incorrectly, it is crazy how quickly and uncomfortable it can become. Levi was latched on really well, and even still, I had, a little bit of scabbing, like day 4. I mean, not a ton, but just a tiny bit, a little bit of blistering, but then it went away really quickly because, we just kind of kept pushing through, and I made sure he latched really well. So, kind of techniques I remember, just small things that really helped me remember to do was baby should be, parallel to you, facing you. So the tummy, touching your tummy is a great, way to remember it. And football holds really good. You want to be able to bring baby to you, not your breast to baby. So really direct them towards your boob. And you want a nice wide open latch, so you want their mouths to be very wide, their lips to be fished out, especially their bottom lip, and you want their jaw to be going down, not their top, moving a ton, a little bit, but like their jaw making the down motion. You will actually be able to see their tongue under your areola and the nipple, and as they get bigger and older, you'll kind of see it more, and you'll kind of, this is what's normal. So it's sometimes normal, and I would say fairly okay, to have some discomfort in the first few seconds, maybe like 30 seconds at the most, when they latch on. That's because baby is suckling, so they're trying hard to get the milk to start flowing, and then when it does, they kind of get into rhythmic sucking, which is not as painful. Plus, when they're newborns, their mouths are super small, so they're going to have a shallow latch, which is going to be more tight and pursed and more painful. So I remember, at first when you're in the hospital, your milk is not always come in, and you produce what's called colostrum. And colostrum is that thick, yellowy stuff that's really, really high in protein and amazing stuff. It provides baby with all the nutrition they need, and they don't need a lot. Just a few drops go a long way. Their stomachs are super small, so they can't handle a lot of food anyways. So don't be stressed. I remember being like, oh my God, like barely anything's coming out, but they are getting plenty. They will nurse sometimes for even 30 to 40 minutes, even to an hour, and that's okay. They're just trying to get your production up, and they're just, eating what they need. My advice to new moms, especially in the beginning, is just to immerse yourself in breastfeeding don't leave the house even. Like, I stayed at home for like the first month, and all I did was breastfeed. I mean, my whole focus in life was breastfeeding. And that was really important. Like, lots of skin-to-skin time with baby. It's going to be great for your milk production, too. And so in the beginning, you're going to have an oversupply of milk, and that is normal. And then kind of like when you reach month 3, month 4 especially, for sure, but even like month 2, it's going to start to regulate, and you're going to have squishier boobs. It won't be as hard and like rock solid. You'll make enough milk for the baby, but not a ton more unless you pump a lot or, want to continue having overproduction of milk. So, biggest thing though is that baby needs to get a balance of the foremilk and the hind milk, and I didn't really know anything about this until later on. So when you first start to feed for feeding, baby gets the foremilk, and that's kind of like the thinner skim milk, I would say. And then the hind milk is more thick and creamy and fatty. And so what happens is if you feed not long enough on one side, they get too much foremilk and not enough of the fatty milk. And that can cause an imbalance and even result in like weird looking poops, which I honest to God think Levi had. They were kind of green and mucousy, and I thought it was a dairy intolerance, and it might have been, but I actually think honestly now it's probably just that, or just the fact that he was drooling a ton and swallowing it. So, I just remember like those few key facts, with the latch especially, and just knowing that, okay, it should be just uncomfortable at first, but not super painful. I think it was like day 5 to 7 are the most painful days, and then after that, it should go away. And breastfeeding should not be painful. Now, there is no master rule book. Every baby is different, and I would say for sure, don't compare yourself. Like, it's a dance, and it's something you have to learn with your baby, and they're going to get better, and you're going to get better. It's so worth it. You're giving your baby incredible immunity and antibodies to fight sickness and illness, and plus it's just really special bonding. Oh God, my hair. I see my mom's chop their hair off. I really, really do. So he's been doing this like snorting thing. I don't know. Why are you doing that? Anyways, but that's just it for now. I'll probably do a part 2 because I think I forgot a lot of stuff, but I just want to throw this out there for you guys. Hope y'all have a good rest of the day. Bye.